What's going on YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video we got some breaking news. Happened about an hour ago. Baker Mayfield has been traded to the Carolina Panthers for a 2024 conditional 5th round draft pick, and I'm going to dive right into it. But before we do, make sure to subscribe and sack that like button so you don't miss any of these uploads when they go live. So Baker Mayfield, it had been a very interesting situation there in Cleveland. Obviously, the Browns traded for Deshaun Watson and made him the highest paid quarterback in NFL history in terms of guaranteed money. And that kind of left Baker Mayfield the odd man out. We really did not know where Baker Mayfield would land because there really wasn't that many other options left. The only two options was the Carolina Panthers and the Seattle Seahawks, but both of them didn't really seem to show much interest. But sure enough here, the Panthers pulled the trigger because giving up a 2024 5th round conditional pick is not bad at all. And the reason I think the Browns would have wanted a 2nd round pick for Mayfield. Remember, this is a guy who has been a starting caliber quarterback over the last few years and who was the #1 overall pick of the 2018 NFL draft. And now giving up a 5th round pick for him 4 years later obviously is not what you want to do. I mean, getting a 5th round in return for him is not what you want to do, and it's a conditional, so it's not even really guaranteed. It depends on how much Mayfield plays, and it's for 2024. It's not for next year's draft, it's the year after. And like I said, it's not even guaranteed. So if I'm gonna say who won this trade, for the Browns, their hands were tied. They really had no other option but to get rid of him and get what they can for him. So, it's not like the Browns did this and they had other options. This was really their only choice. But that doesn't change the fact that it still wasn't good for them. And for the Carolina Panthers, this is just a complete high reward but low risk. I mean, if it doesn't work out, fine. You barely gave anything up for him. If it does work out, you may have your franchise quarterback because, as of right now, at least for now, you have a bridge quarterback because Sam Darnold is not a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL. Whether it's his fault or not, that's a completely different argument for a different video. But Matt Corral is not ready to start now. The rookie quarterback that the Carolina Panthers drafted, I believe, in the 4th round of this past draft. He is a developmental quarterback. It may take a few years before he can be a starting quarterback. He's a project quarterback, so they needed someone other than Sam Darnold to start now, and Mayfield does this for him. So I think the Panthers won the trade. For the Panthers, I give the trade an A+. For the Browns, like I said, they had their hands tied. There wasn't much they could do, so I'm going to say a C+. Now, if you look at Baker Mayfield's stats last season, now he was injured a lot throughout last year, but if you look at his stats, he threw 17 touchdown passes, 13 interceptions, 60% completion rating, and he went 6-8 as a starter. Not all that exciting, but if you look at his career as a whole, he has 92 career touchdowns to 56 interceptions, which is almost a 2-to-1 rating. His overall QB rating is 88, if you round it. So, I mean, Baker Mayfield is not an elite level quarterback, and I think that's for sure. But he's a quarterback that if you give him a system, he can thrive in, and we saw it in 2020. The Browns went 11-5. Mayfield threw 26 touchdown passes to just 8 interceptions and had a QB rating of 96. Baker Mayfield, but could be great. But the problem here is, I don't think the Panthers have what Mayfield needs. Sure, they have Christian McCaffrey, Chuba Hubbard. They have a solid running back room. The receiving core, has some question marks. The offensive line isn't that good. The defense is still kind of, coming into its own. And they have a very flimsy coaching staff. But what's interesting, and, RG3, the former NFL quarterback, kind of made this point a little just recently, a few minutes ago, that I saw, and I totally agree with him, is this is a great match for Baker Mayfield and for the Carolina Panthers, because with Baker Mayfield, he's coming in here having to prove that he can still be a starting quarterback in the NFL and that he isn't a diva of a quarterback who's selfish. So Baker Mayfield has that to prove. While the Panthers coaching staff, their jobs are on the line heading into this year. And particularly Matt Rule, the head coach, entering his third year with the Panthers. And he's hoping that Baker Mayfield can help save his job. And trust me, if Mayfield doesn't pan out with the with the Panthers, the Matt Rule era in Carolina is over. So these are two sides that need each other and need each other to be able to save their NFL careers. But I don't know. I mean, they're in a tough division with the Saints and the Buccaneers, and like I said, I mean, their defense has some young, good players in that secondary. Their front seven is not very good. I see them having trouble stopping the run this year, similar to how they did last year. I just don't see how the Panthers are able to, make it into the playoffs. But I do think Baker Mayfield definitely gives them a better chance to win. But now, if you're the Panthers, you do have three quarterbacks, notable quarterbacks on your team, and Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and Matt Corral. Like I already said, Matt Corral is a developmental quarterback. Sam Darnold, I don't believe is a starting quarterback. I think he's a good backup to have. And now you have Mayfield. I think Mayfield is the clear-cut starter. If I had to predict Baker Mayfield's stats for the Panthers this season, honestly, I would say around 20 touchdown passes and 11 to 12 interceptions. Not anything that exciting, but not terrible. I don't see the Panthers making the playoffs despite getting this trade, though. Another interesting thing to look at is the Browns and Panthers play week 1. So Baker Mayfield, right off the rip, is going to be having his revenge game against the Cleveland Browns. Now, Deshaun Watson will probably not be playing in that game, assuming he gets suspended. But for Mayfield, it's still going to be a big revenge game to, beat the team that kind of passed up for him. And, it'd be typical Browns, like week 1, you play your former quarterback, and, he's there playing and he lights you up. Wow, the guy you just paid $230 million to guaranteed isn't going to play for another 3 months, and you're sitting at 0-1 while Mayfield just torched you. I could totally see that being the scenario for the Browns. I'm not saying the Browns are going to lose that game. I still think they're the better overall team than the Panthers, but it won't shock me if that's how things play out for the Browns, because at the end of the day, they are the Browns. So Jacoby Brissett will be the starting quarterback pretty much. It's official. If Deshaun Watson is suspended, Baker Mayfield will not be playing for them, obviously. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I kind of wanted to give my thoughts on all this. Comment down below what you guys think. Do you think Baker Mayfield is going to be able to resurrect his reputation and his career with the Panthers? Comment down below what you think. And other than that, I'll see you guys next time.